This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1045 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Stable Scoop show. Ellie O'Brien joins show co-hosts Glenn and Helena for a chat about the importance of going through that ugly phase when training your horse. And we'll get right to our tip after this important message from Millcreek spreaders.
They've made the best even better. Millcreek Manufacturing is now the first and only company to make stainless steel compact manure spreaders. What does that mean for you? A worry-free solution to your manure management for years to come. Often if a body on a spreader rusts, it's time for a new one. And we've had that happen. We certainly had some old spreaders that rusted out. Millcreek stainless steel spreaders are guaranteed not to rust through for life. These are the only compact manure spreaders you'll find anywhere with a warranty like that. There's also a 3-year warranty on the mechanics and structure. Put this together with Millcreek's exclusive low-maintenance sealed bearings, and you've got a machine that you can count on to perform day in and day out with no headaches for you. The stainless steel option is available on 6 of Millcreek's models, from the popular 27, suitable for up to 4 horses, to the Big Daddy 127 for over 20 horses. 2 of the models can be ordered with either ground or PTO drive. Like all Millcreek spreaders, stainless steel spreaders have the lowest sides in the industry for easy manure loading. You can't go wrong with any Millcreek manure spreader, but the new stainless steel models are truly something special. You've never seen anything like them before. Millcreek has been in business for almost 30 years, and they've continuously improved their designs with horse owners in mind. Horse owners like you and I who appreciate the best quality, best engineered machines on the market. When you call Millcreek, you'll reach them at their own factory in Pennsylvania. That's right, not in India, but in Pennsylvania, because they're all made in the USA. Give them a call today at 800-311-1323 or visit their website at millcreekspreaders.com. That's millcreekspreaders.com.
Today, I wanted to talk about the what finished product. So kind of looking at, working through and not being afraid of going through the ugly stuff to get to the pretty finished product. This one thing that I really see going on a lot and a big mistake we make, and that is riding and training like we're already on a finished product. But in reality, it's not very often that we are riding a finished product. So, and what happens there is we kind of end up going around and around in circles, and then we're forever having to fill in holes because we didn't go through that ugly phase to get to that pretty picture at the end. And one thing I try and teach my riders, I get a lot of riders that come to me and they've been taught to ride the finished product, but they're on a horse that isn't the finished product. So we sort of have to go back to, it's okay to put your hands out really wide, or maybe you might have to put them up really high, or, and not be looking pretty all the time to be able to get the job done. And then in the end, that might take weeks or months or even years to get to that pretty picture, but by the end of it, then you're show ready, I guess you could say. And I think that training, it isn't pretty. In fact, it can look quite ugly and messy and wobbly and all those bad things that we try to avoid, but we just have to go through them to get to the good part. So I thought a good example to talk about would be straightness. And I think one of the worst ways that I see straightness being worked on is by people trying to force it, trying to hold their horse in together so that they don't fall apart. And I think it can look pretty to maybe an untrained eye, but it's not true and proper. And when I'm riding a horse and training a horse, I always think to myself, if a master horse trainer, maybe like Buck Brannaman or Ray Hunt or, any of those type of people, if they were to ever get on my horse, I would want to feel proud in what I was working on, no matter if it was just a baby or a more advanced horse. I would want them to be able to feel that I am working on those correct foundations. So, yeah, instead of holding them in and everything, what I would actually do is the complete opposite. So, basically just letting them fail and letting them make mistakes and then correcting them. So I like to call it failing forward, because we make those mistakes. And it's just like anything, whether it's horse training, whether it's children training, or when we're learning to do a new job or something. We make those mistakes, we correct it, and then we move forward and leave them alone. So if we keep on just working on those things, say maybe with the straightness, if we let go of all of that micromanaging and wanting to hold them in there, and say we're just riding along on a loose rein and the horse goes to duck off to maybe the right, all I would simply do is pick up on my left rein, hold it until the horse bends back to the left side, and then release again. And so what starts happening there is the horse starts to get prepared to go off on the other direction. So if we keep on doing that every single time the horse goes to, say, duck out to one side or the other, just pick up on the opposite rein, then they start to become more balanced and straight, because they're always waiting for you to ask them to go either way instead of holding them in there. And, I mean, you might have ridden a horse like that before, that if you don't have your reins tight and your legs on, then they're kind of all over the show. I remember last year we had a horse come to us, and the people, he'd only had maybe about 60 days on him or so, and the people were all upset because he had started bucking when they were asking him to do flying changes. And so we just stripped it right back to those basics, and taking away a lot of that leg pressure and rein and holding him in and just riding on a loose rein. And this horse, I mean, he couldn't even hold himself up. He was all over the show. And so if you don't have that, then there's no way that you can expect to have that pretty picture and more advanced movements. So I guess that's kind of my training tip for today, is just not being afraid of going through the ugly and the messy and everything, and letting go of those expectations. And I think sometimes what worries people a lot of the time, and I've had some of my students say to me, like, oh, gee, like people look at me like I'm some crazy woman riding around all messy and all over the show. But it's just a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, and I just say to them, just keep doing it, and one day you will have that pretty product at the end.
I like to just keep doing it. I tend to be one of those people because that's one of our biggest training challenges is straightness, even at the walk. Yeah. And he just sticks his big old belly out in one direction or the other. So you do have this tendency, I have this tendency to want to hold it, get the straightness and maintain it instead of ask for it, let him, resist, give him a few seconds, ask for it again. So there's this sort of ingrained habit, of I need straightness. I got to hold it. And I can't hold it anymore. And then, everything falls apart. And it is very frustrating. So it's helpful to think of even one small request like that to be not just one entire request, but a series of small ones that may succeed and may fail, even within, 10 to 15 strides of walking or something. Again, totally counter to what I sometimes feel as a rider. I need to ask for this and get it. And if I get it, I have to hold it.
Yeah, and I think that's a very typical training issue. And all spectrums. We get it, and even life, I guess. We get something and we want to hold on to it and not let go of it. But I think in reality it's getting it, and then the reward is in letting go of it. And then soon they start to realize that soft place, that really good spot, is when we let go of it, and that's when they start holding it.
I had a few girlfriends that I should have let go a lot sooner.
Yeah, we could link it through to relationships.
Yeah. Or jobs. I've had a few jobs I shouldn't have stayed at that long either. So, very good, Ellie.
Where horse training
yes.
works in all of life.
Somebody should write that book where there's the horse training tip and then the life tip that goes along with it, side by side. That would be good. And it could apply to relationships or your job, They all go together, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Ellie, where can people find you?
At Finesse Equestrian Training, Ellie O'Brien Finesse Equestrian Training.
If you just search up Ellie O'Brien on Facebook, you'll find her, and we'll also put links in our show notes as well. Thank you so much, Ellie. We're glad you had a great time on your first Christmas in the United States.
Well, there you go. For links to today's contributors, go to horsetipdaily.com. And don't forget, you can have every single one of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go by downloading the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. Do it today. It's quick, it's free, and it's easy. And this podcast was made possible through the generous support of Millcreek spreaders and listeners like you. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.